Now, he attempted to run for president of Nigeria, believing he had the right strategic conception that would show the Nigerian public that in political warfare, it is possible for a politician to stand for the people rather than for himself. But flip through the pages of the new book by the 2023 PDP presidential aspirant, Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa, and you'll be peeking into the darker side of Nigerian politics, replete with intrigues of biblical proportions and a lingering sense of betrayal. It's a unique window into why political aspirations from well-meaning people keep getting upended, and why, when we think of Nigerian politicians and the parties to which they belong, we aren't too far off the mark if we think of them as secret societies with images of hooded figures, cryptic handshakes, and dark rituals, people to be wary of but also fascinated by. So, as the political train revs its engines again ahead of 2027, what lessons might there be for those who aspire to public office? Well, for more on this, I'm delighted to say that I'm joined now in the studio by the former PDP presidential aspirant, Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa, who's written a new book about his attempt to win the PDP presidential nomination in 2023. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Charles. Pleasure is mine always.
You know what they say, don't you? No risk it, no biscuit.
For real.
So we'll come to,
no venture, no success.
Absolutely. We'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But let me get your reaction first
Yeah.
to the news that the INEC chairman, who bestrode elections in this country for a decade, has now stepped down.
Yeah. Well, I believe it's a cheering news because Mahmoud does not leave a very sweet taste in the mouth of many politicians.
Including yourself.
Wrongly or rightly, because he let us down, especially in the last election. He raised our hopes so high that at last we've gotten our electoral system in a manner that we can trust the results. But at the critical time, he dropped the ball. Whether it was accidental or coincidental or deliberate, history will judge that. But he left a bitter taste in our mouths.
Especially for the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, if every Nigerian, because we should get to a stage now where we shouldn't be disputing the legitimacy of our president. When a man wins, or even governor, when you win election, yes, there may be issue of people who still contest it, but largely we should say this is the man that won the election. The country knows when Abiola won the election, it was not announced. The result wasn't announced, but people knew Abiola won. Even all the denials were made at the time, but eventually government admitted that Abiola won the election. People were sent to jail. People were for daring to say, "Are you a neck?" So people know when the right things are done. Mahmoud let us down. So I'm happy he's finished his term. He should just go and take his rest.
So how much of an opportunity is it now for Nigeria to again bring elections back to the right path of rectitude?
For me, there could have never been a better time. I think that what is calling on us today in this country is actually to retrace our steps. With what is going on in the reform side of government, economic reforms, I think that reform should run through every gamut of activity.
Economics, politics, social.
That courage of working.
That's a very good point.
That boldness, that courage of working against the wrong and doing something different, break from the past. That's what the president has shown.
And what is perceived to be right.
Yes.
Right.
So I think this is the time for him to be selfless and say, guys, I've heard you. Everybody's saying the president shouldn't just pick somebody he likes or somebody that will be beholden to him. Let's look for an opportunity to get an independent person and give him opportunity to run an election. I think this is the opportunity. If we miss it again, it might be long in coming.
Right, and you mentioned the economy there. I'm going to sort of draw a gentle line on that topic about the INEC chairman and move on to the next? Because you're taking part in the 31st NESG Economic Summit. We're going to get to your book in a minute.
Correct.
And you assess the Nigerian economy both as a former chairman of the NESG and a former opposition presidential aspirant. What are the wider signals that you're detecting from the Nigerian economy under the Tinubu administration? Because while there's a lot of talk about the effectiveness of the reforms, all the signals seem to suggest very low consumer confidence.
For real, consumer confidence is real with government policies. Government policies, people have stopped trusting government. Over many years of promises that failed, you know, light for all, health for all, housing for all. Still, we have no house, we have no health, we have no light. Over many cycles, so it's not one. Why will people keep believing when you say something? But I can tell you, with all sincerity, that the feelings we're getting is that we are about to get this economy in the right path. That is the overall signal that at long last, maybe we're about to find a way to deal economy and allow a sustainable growth, not the up and down, boom and bust we have gone through many years through artificial subsidies and rent seeking and all manner of corruptive things that have happened that's enriched many and impoverished even a lot more. With this deregulation, which of course is our issue in NESG, we've always said, let's deregulate.
That is true. You've been very consistent.
Yeah, let's privatize. Let the market determine the value that you give for every product and identity. Let there be competition. Let the consumer get the best. Because the consumer is the one who determines what he's willing to pay for. We did a regulation in petroleum that also rubbed off in foreign exchange. Many were moving in the direction. Secondly, the government of Nigeria for over 6-7 years went through a very critical revenue crisis. They couldn't fund capital. They had begun to not even be able to fund recurrent. Debt repayment was becoming 97% of revenue. Debt repayment, that's all the money we earned. We used to service debt. It was not sustainable. And one way was to find very creative ways to reverse that. What the president and the government has done has at least brought us out of that crisis stage. Revenue is ramping up. And when they bring these new tax laws that are ready to go, revenue will fly and we'll deal with that crisis.
Well, I'm sure the president will be very happy to hear you speaking. Not from a political, because I mean you are. First of all, you're an opposition politician.
I'm just assessing the economy.
And secondly, but you're a hard-nosed economist.
Yeah.
And you've been part of the most respected, in fact, you've led the most respected, arguably, economic think tank in the whole of the sub-region, the NESG. So the points that you're making are very important ones.
But that's one side of the story.
Yeah, what is the other side?
The other side is that we have dealt with the revenue crisis. There's another crisis, which existed but is burgeoning. That is the expenditure crisis, the waste crisis. We are making revenue. We must therefore ensure that the sacrifice that people have made, because this increased revenue,
fiscal prudence.
This revenue is another way for saying is taxed from the people.
Right.
We've taxed the people, me and you inclusive, and fine. I mean, there was a time when Lagos, when we said, Fashola, if you wanted to take more money from us, we're ready to give you, because we saw him work to change Lagos. Nigerians now want that transformation to justify that pain, and it is not yet reflecting because there is a mismatch between this increased revenue and the impact of the expenditure on the life of the people. So this is what government should move attention to now.
Right.
As we're curing the revenue, let's please ensure that we get value for money. Try and wind down all the extraordinary expenditure on political class a small percentage of the people are taking a disproportionate share of the revenue, even this new one. They are getting high on the revenue. Everything is in billions. Million is gone in Nigeria, so it will be trillions. And we can't continue like that, because soon, you dig a sand, you dig a hole, spend the energy digging the hole. After you finish digging the hole, then you use the other leg to put the sand back. What's the resultant work you've done?
Well, that's
my point.
Yeah.
The government needs to do that, so that this good news can really roll down.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your book.
Thank you.
It's got a very long title, hasn't it?
It's called Driven by Revelation and Inspiration. My aspiration journey through the 2023 presidential election.
That's it up on the screen.
And matters arising.
Why such a? What's behind the title?
The title is that, many people asked me. I even asked myself, why are you in this game? Why? I mean, I tried to resist it. And if you read the book from first chapter, I talked about the heartbeats, the political heartbeat that I've had, but I've always run away, because I do not think everything else about me fits into the Nigerian political system. My values, my principles are complete contradiction. But the pressure got so unbearable that I had to go. And people asked, why? Sam, what do you think you could swim in this murky water? I wanted to explain that it was a whole depth of inspiration and revelation that was irresistible.
Revelation and inspiration from whom?
Revelation from powers that are above me, from my God. I received revelation.
Yeah, but how come he didn't get you to win then?
No,
if
God,
that revelation
God's
came from
time, Charles, God's time is not our own timing. But when he says a thing, he has a purpose for saying it. And the important thing is obedience. It is obedience works with.
Right.
If you remember, now you're talking, when in the Bible, where somebody was asked to go and sacrifice his son, he did not, but he went. And for that obedience, he was blessed. So God can test you in different forms.
Right.
So that revelation and inspiration for a country that I have lived my life hoping that the country will move from being a third world country. I was born into a third world country 75 years ago. I'm seeing a third world country, a developing country. And I'm asking myself, when would this country become a developed country?
Right. So beyond the supernatural test that you say you had,
the revelation side.
what lessons did you learn from that experience?
The lessons I learned is that this country is not ready for people who have ideas. The country is not yet ready for ideas to rule the nation, for competence to rule the nation, for capacity. What rules the nation today, to be able to get to political power, is how much money do you have? It is a matter of how much money you have. That's the currency. In my Matters Arising, I spoke about Nigeria's monetized political culture. And that's the culture. The person who wins any primary in Nigeria, as far as we've done, must either spend the highest amount of money, either he has it, or he's able to raise it, or people are ready to spend it on his part. That's how you have these godfather people. But when an average Nigerian who has an idea of how to serve at any level, whether it's local government, state, and he does not have bags of money for whatever source, he's going nowhere. So people will listen to your story. I mean, like
sympathize with you, but go to the highest bidder.
At the end, I mean, they told me after the election, people who came to me and say, Sam, we'll vote for you. It's not about money. We will vote for you because we believe you have what it takes at the primary.
Are you still in the PDP?
I've not resigned.
But you've got PDP. One leg in the ADC, have you?
I'm currently not anywhere.
Right. Truly,
I'm nominally in PDP, but my spirit is not in PDP. My mind is not, because
But you're still politically inclined.
I am
Right.
contributing politically.
Right.
I am contributing my ideas. I'm making suggestions. I'm willing to support any group of people who share my value.
But your confidence has been dashed when it comes to the PDP.
No, PDP is a party that is in complete disarray, and every day you think that it's getting better, but it is getting worse.
Right.
Anybody that puts his hope on PDP is like it's fallen for me today, because today the chairman of PDP, the acting chairman, or is the chairman, and the secretary are exchanging mails and they are quarreling. So how can you, what is the redemption for that party? These two people who are going to sign letters nominating people to the election or whatever, if the secretary refuses to sign, the chairman can't sign alone. So the decay in PDP has gotten so bad that only God can redeem it. But the question is, what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives? That's why I say...
Well, there's the ADC.
Yeah, the ADC is. But again, the ADC is still in a formative stage, and you do not actually define...
Yeah, but that's why it's a good opportunity to try and shape it, isn't it? Because it's in a formative stage.
Yeah, but the shaping, the disease in Nigerian political is not going to be different from the disease in ADC. Do you have money? If you don't have money, there's no space for you.
So for you in particular, because I mean, you talked reverently about the sort of the revelation to you and the inspiration and so on. Is there likely to be another political resurrection for you in the near future? Or are you now headed for political oblivion as far as that kind of sort of prominent attempt
now,
is
I'm not
concerned?
headed for political oblivion.
Right.
That's why I wrote a book. And if you see the conclusion of the book, I said, God cannot lie. I am sincerely taking political work as a ministry. There should be a call. Because it's not about you. It's not about what you want to do for yourself. If it's what I want to do for myself, I don't need to do anything more. I mean, God has blessed me and blessed my family. But I am unhappy when I see the level of poverty, when I see the level of suffering, when I see the way Nigerians are put down because of our country, when you see the kind of way Donald Trump, for example, is talking to Nigerians and Africans, I feel offended, and I say, well, we could do better than this. We could do better. So my desire today is, how do we get this done? Now, it doesn't have to be me. Charles, if I find that you can do it and achieve the same result or similar result you have my support. Okay. That's what politics is all about. It's not about individuals. So I am still working, looking for like-minded people so that we can push this country forward. Right. But for today, that's why I've said this government is doing well in economy, because the economy is the central thing.
Well, you made that point.
Yeah, it's so. But if they don't arrest the erosion in terms of expenditure and waste, then we may not get the total benefit of what I've said.
Mazi Sam, it's always a pleasure, I have to say. You're inspiringly articulate.
Yes.
Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa is a former PDP presidential aspirant, former chairman of the NESG, and he's written a new book about his attempt to win the PDP presidential nomination in 2023. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Charles. A pleasure.